Now, today we are going to be talking about ratios, rates, and unit rates, and we're going to learn how to work with rates and ratios, which most of you guys have done this before. You just maybe weren't aware of the fact that they were rates or ratios. Now, we do have 3 vocabulary words today. Our first one is rate. The rate is a ratio that compares quantities measured in different units. For example, miles per hour, on your car. It's measured in 2 different units because you're talking about how many miles you're going in how many hours, okay? A unit rate is a rate in which the second quantity in the comparison is 1. Okay, we'll use the unit rate to figure out typically which product is cheaper. If you were buying a 12-pack of Cokes versus maybe a 24-pack of Cokes. To find the unit rate, we would be finding out how much like one can cost, and then whichever one was the cheaper per can price, obviously is going to be the better deal. That's what like a unit rate would be. Okay. And finally, the unit price is a unit rate used to compare prices. Again, just like what I was talking about with the Cokes, that would be our unit price whenever we're comparing the price of one can of Coke or Dr. Pepper or something like that. All right, let's take a look at our first example here. It says a rate is a comparison of 2 quantities that have different units, and this is the example. The ratio that you might see might be 90/3, which that might mean something like we went 90 miles in 3 hours. Okay, that would be our rate. Okay, you guys should be copying this down in your notes. Label it like you see here. Then if we wanted to convert this to, say, a unit rate, we would be looking for, well, how many miles did we go in, say, 1 hour? Yeah, we could just do 90 divided by 3, and that would give us 30. So the unit rate on this example would be 30, because we're going 30 miles in 1 hour. Okay? What if you're in a school zone? 30 miles in 1 hour. This is pretty fast for a school zone. You're only supposed to be going 20. All right, and here is just the unit rate that we were just talking about. If we wanted to simplify this to get where our quantity, our miles, would be 1, we simply divide by 3, which would give us 30/1. And essentially what they're doing here is they're trying to get our unit, our time, into 1. Yes, which would give us our unit rate, which would be 30 miles in 1 hour, or 30 miles per hour. Okay? That one's pretty simple. They do get a little bit more difficult than that, but almost any time you're trying to find, say, a unit rate, you're going to be dividing. Now, it is possible that they could give you an amount smaller than 1. Well, if they said like, I don't know, yeah, like if half, if 0.5 of my body weight was 100 pounds, what is my full body weight? Yeah, in that case, you'd have to multiply times 2, because you need to multiply 0.5 times 2 to get it up to be our unit rate of 1. Okay, let's take a look at our next slide. All right, it says find the unit rate for each of these. Now, for our first one here, it says $2.22 for 6 stamps. So we know that we're going to have $2.22 for 6 stamps, and we're trying to figure out how much 1 stamp is going to equal. Okay, so yes, we divide. Well, when we divide $2.22 divided by 6, what do we get? I don't either. What? No. Yeah, that would give us 3, which would give us, what, 18, leftover of 4. All right, so that would give us, yeah, 37 cents is how much one stamp cost, which we all know that, oh, what are you kidding? 37 cents for a stamp is cheap. Stamps are way more than 37 cents now. Actually, I don't know how much stamps are. But I think they're 40. I think they're 45 cents each. All right, let's take a look at the next one. The next one says 8 heartbeats in 6 seconds. Well, again, we're trying to figure out which one or how many times your heart's going to beat in, say, 1 second. Okay, so if we divide 8 divided by 6, we're going to end up with a decimal answer again, because obviously 6 doesn't go into 8 evenly. But we do know that 6 goes into 8 one time. And then what goes in there? 3. So we should recognize that that's going to be a repeating decimal, so that's going to go on forever. So yeah, it could be 1.3 with a bar over it, or we could say 1 and 1. Yeah, we could say 1 3/10 if you wanted to. So I tell you what, let's do 1.3 with our Repetin bar over it. Or we could say, I guess we could probably even say 1 1/3. That might even be more accurate, probably. Yeah. Really, all it's asking us is how many times is your heart beating per second? Well, it's beating 1 1/3 times per second. Okay. Yes. Hold on to your question until after we're done, then you can ask me. Yes. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 says a half dozen carnations for $4.75, or a dozen for $9.24. And what it's asking us here is which one's a better buy? Okay. No, you can't say, well, obviously the half dozen ones are a better buy because those are cheaper. If they're only $4.75, so obviously you're saving money. Well, yeah, you are saving money, but which one is actually cheaper per flower? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you could certainly do that. And she asked, well, if we know we have a half a dozen, can't we just do $4.75 plus $4.75 to make that the price for 12 or a dozen and see which one is cheaper? Yeah, you could certainly do that on this one. But what happens if the question said if a half dozen are $4.75 and 9 of them are another price? Then we would have to find the unit rate. And really, it wants you to find the unit rate, but I'm not opposed to doing the 475 plus 475, which gives us, what does that even give us? Okay, so we get $9.50. So which one of these is going to be cheaper? Yeah, the dozen is going to be cheaper because the dozen is $9.24, whereas the others are going to be $9.50 per dozen. I hate to tell you this, but if they sold out of the dozen and they have 2 packs of 6, that's a dozen. All right, so let's take a look at our next one. The next one is kind of similar to what I was talking about. This one says we have 4 pins for $5.16 and a 10-pack of pins for $12.90. Which one is cheaper? Well, again, really we need to find the unit rate for this. So if we did our 516 divided by 4, and we did our 1290 divided by 10, which really we could just move our decimal over on that one, and say the 10-pack is $1.29 each. I divided $12.90 divided by 10, which I know dividing by 10 is the same thing as moving our decimal 1 place to the left. Okay, so that's what I did. I moved my decimal 1 place to the left, and I got $1.29 each. Now, let's see what our 4 pins are going to be. Let me see. 4 goes into 5 one time. 4 goes into 11 2 times. guess it would help if I did 8. Is it the same? Okay, even better. Which gives me what? 3, 6, and then 4 goes into 36 9 times. So we get $1.29. Oh, look at that. $1.29 for the 4 pins, or $1.29 for the 10 pins. So which is a better buy? Well, they're equal. In this case, there's not a better buy. They're equal. It doesn't give you any stipulations about how much money you have. It doesn't matter about any of that. Okay? All it's taking into consideration is which one is cheaper per item. These are the same price per item. So, what is your answer? Well, there is no better buy. That would be your answer. They're the equal prices. Okay? Questions on that?